Alright, let's talk about something that's been on my mind a lot lately, and it's not just because the news cycle is buzzing about it. Europe is in the middle of what can only be described as a climate-induced nightmare, and it's not just the heat waves or the wildfires, though those are terrifying enough. What's really catching my attention is the fact that Europe's rivers are drying up. And when I say drying up, I mean to the point where it's causing energy shortages, economic strain, and a whole lot of panic. So, let's break this down, because personally, I think this is a story that's way bigger than just another summer of extreme weather. First off, what makes this really interesting is how interconnected everything is. Europe's rivers aren't just bodies of water, they're lifelines for energy production, transportation, and agriculture. Take the Rhine, for example. It's one of the most critical rivers in Europe, and it's at record lows. This isn't just a problem for the fish, it's a problem for the coal and gas plants that rely on river water for cooling. And when those plants can't operate at full capacity, you've got energy shortages. In my opinion, this is where the rubber meets the road in the climate crisis. It's not just about melting ice caps or rising sea levels, it's about how these changes disrupt the systems we've built our societies around. One thing that immediately stands out is how this situation exposes the fragility of our infrastructure. We've designed our energy systems assuming that rivers will always be there, flowing at a certain level. But what happens when that assumption is wrong? What many people don't realize is that this isn't just a European problem, it's a global wake-up call. If Europe, with all its resources and planning, is struggling this much, what does that mean for regions with fewer resources? If you take a step back and think about it, this raises a deeper question. Are we even prepared for the kind of climate future we're heading into? Another detail I find fascinating is the economic fallout. Europe is already dealing with inflation and supply chain issues, and now this. The drying rivers are affecting shipping routes, which means higher costs for goods. It's like a domino effect, and what this really suggests is that climate change isn't just an environmental issue, it's an economic one. From my perspective, this is where the conversation needs to shift. We can't keep treating climate change as something that's happening in a vacuum. It's intertwined with everything, from energy to economics to food security. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Europe is resorting to drastic measures, like reopening coal plants, to deal with the energy shortages. On the surface, it makes sense. They need power, and they need it now. But personally, I think this is a double-edged sword. Yes, it solves an immediate problem, but it also locks in more carbon emissions at a time when we should be moving away from fossil fuels. This raises a deeper question. Are these short-term fixes just delaying the inevitable, or are they making the problem worse? What this really comes down to, in my opinion, is a failure of long-term planning. We've known for decades that climate change is coming, yet we've built our systems as if it's not. And now, we're paying the price. But here's the thing, this isn't just a story of failure. It's also an opportunity. If Europe can figure out how to adapt, and adapt quickly, it could become a model for the rest of the world. What makes this moment so critical is that it's not just about surviving this summer, it's about building resilience for the decades to come. So, as I wrap this up, I'm left with a thought-provoking question. What does it take for us to act? Do we need to see rivers dry up? Do we need to experience blackouts? Or can we start planning for the future before it's too late? Personally, I think the answer lies in how we frame this crisis. It's not just about saving the planet, it's about saving our way of life. And if Europe's situation is any indication, we don't have a moment to waste.